distinguished senators, governors, and all protocols observed, dear friends, I consider it a great privilege to be asked to say a few words on two issues this afternoon. The first issue being the birthday of my friend, Sam Nda Isaiah, and I'll say a few words about him. And the second issue, touching concerning our nation, the brilliant submission and paper that was read here and put to us by Professor Ango Abdullahi. Let me start by saying a few words about my friend Sam. I remember when we were in government during the Obasanjo years, and I was speaking for the president at the time. And I must tell you that Sam Nda Isaiah gave us a real nightmare at that time. Not only was I required to be one of the first to read his column and read his comments, wherever you were. I think he started with trust, then he went to leadership and so on and so forth. I was asked to monitor him and know what Sam is saying, and he was just somebody that we could not reach, we could not intimidate, we could not in any way compromise. And you know, this is a man that is truly irrepressible. And ever since that time, he has always had my immense respect. A lot of what he said to us privately, which he couldn't write in his column, turned out to be prophetic about things that happened at that time, decisions that were made, the way in which those decisions were made, and the personalities involved, and so on and so forth. He kept warning us, and many of us would not listen. It turned out that at the end of it all, Sam may well have been proved right. And that for me is a personal tragedy, and I think it's a tragedy for Nigeria in many ways. And of course, it's commendation to him, his prophetic utterances and his ability to see beyond the natural realm. Then the Yar'Adua years came, and again I read his column religiously, and he spoke out forcefully and clearly when he needed to a point that government did something that our government never did, which is to now charge him to court for sedition and attempt to prosecute him and send him to jail. Of course, thankfully it didn't work, but that just shows you the resilience of my brother, but he kept going on regardless of all the persecution. Then the next administration came, and of course, Sam has been equally up to the task by speaking out in a very effective manner, analyzing the issues and telling the government of the day precisely how he feels. And I must confess that those analyses that he comes up with regular Monday mornings are very, very profound. And I sincerely hope that more and more people begin to read those columns, begin to follow what Sam is saying, and begin to consider the possibility of bringing Sam Nda Isaiah firmly into the ranks of the political class so that he can play a role, or the role that I believe that God has ordained for him to play in our affairs. Because, you know, I've been in politics for almost 20 years. Very rarely do you see men or women that can speak out so forcefully and speak to power and tell the truth the way my brother has done. So I'd like to congratulate you, Sam, and I actually wish you well. Now, going to the business of the day, as it were, let me first of all commend Professor Ango Abdullahi for that brilliant paper. And of course, I have to start with the very profound and insightful comment that the chairman of this occasion made when he made his comments. When he said, Nigeria is on fire. He didn't stop there. He also said the North is on fire. And he cited a number of states and so on and so forth. Well, many of us in the younger generation, it's self-evident, we share that view. And I would go a step further by saying that if truly the North is on fire, and it most certainly is, that fire will certainly stretch over to the next house, cross the borders into the South eventually, and it will not only be the North that will be consumed, it will be the whole of this country that will be consumed. And we simply cannot afford to allow that to happen. Whatever it takes, whatever has to be done, whoever has to go, whoever has to be removed, whoever has to be told the truth about his inability to control the situation that we are faced with in this country today. This is the time for people to speak out and do precisely that. It is not very often that a man of General T.Y. Danjuma's stature speaks out. And you know, I've studied it, I've traced it, and I've studied his history and the history of this country. But what I've discovered is whenever he comes out with these very powerful, profound comments about the state of the nation, usually something gives and something happens, unless the powers that be listen and change their ways. And I sincerely hope and pray that the message that he has sent out today, that Nigeria is on fire, is heard loud and clear within the walls of the villa, the National Assembly, the various governors in the country, and amongst the political class. As regards the comments of Professor Ango Abdullahi, let me just start by saying this. I am a committed Nigerian. Everything I am today, and everything I was born into and became, I owe to a united, undivided, and united Nigeria. I love this country, and I will defend the unity of this country any day, any time. I do not believe that we should have a situation where this country breaks up. I do not subscribe to the view that any part of this country should secede. I believe strongly that it is better for us to remain together than for us to be divided and go our separate ways. However, I think it's very, very important for us to point out that restructuring and devolution of power is a completely different thing to secession or breaking up. Those of us that believe that this country needs to be restructured and there needs to be a devolution of power from the center to the various regions or states or whatever you like to call it, by any vessel, any vehicle, whether it be SNC, National Conference, or whatever you like to call it. We believe that simply because we want to ensure that this country remains together, not because we want to break it up. And I think that it's very, very fundamental. The right of self-determination, the right of people within various parts of the country to be able to say, listen, this is how we want our lives run, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to achieve within a wider Nigeria. And I think a lot of the time, that call is misconstrued as a call for the breakup of Nigeria. If we wanted to break up Nigeria, it certainly wouldn't be the way to go about it by saying let's talk, let's dialogue, and so on and so forth. And when you see what is happening in the north, when you see what Boko Haram is doing today, when you see a situation where there is a perception by the majority of Nigerians that this country is being run by a very small clique of people from a very small part of the country, rightly or wrongly, that's the perception. But when you see Boko Haram burning people, killing people, bombing churches, killing Christians all over the north and Muslims too with impunity, but when you have a government that has not been able to do anything about it, that tells us everything is okay every day, that tells us they will change the situation, and at the same time warns us that if we speak out too much, that well, you may be scrutinized, or you may have, even more charges, whatever put on your head. I mean, this